Morality is a luxury for the weak. Power belongs to those brave enough to see the world as it truly is.
If you call someone Machiavellian, you're accusing them of being a ruthless, manipulative schemer, treating human beings like pawns to advance their own self-interest. This reputation stems from a set of brutal, forbidden laws of power tied to his name. To survive, you must conceal your true intentions, and if you have to choose between the two, it is much safer to be feared by your subjects than to be loved. These sound like the mad ravings of an ancient dictator, but the man who wrote history's most notorious playbook for absolute power never wore a crown. Niccolo Machiavelli was a middle-class civil servant working a desk job. Far from dreaming of a monarchy, he spent his nights reading Roman history in a toga, writing hundreds of pages in his Discourses on Livy, arguing that a republic is always more stable, more prudent, and of better judgment than a prince. He was rewarded for his loyalty with a cell. When aristocratic elites overthrew his beloved republic, they arrested him on suspicion of treason. They strung him up in a dungeon and physically tortured him. To understand how a man who loved liberty ended up writing the ultimate manual for tyranny, we have to throw away the myth. We have to look at the terrifying reality of the world he was trying to survive. At the turn of the 1500s, Florence was trapped in a geopolitical nightmare. Massive foreign empires from France, Spain, and Germany were constantly marching across the Italian peninsula, turning the region into a chaotic slaughterhouse. Machiavelli's first instinct was to defend his city using classical ideals. He relied on honest diplomacy, appealed to civic virtue, and even organized a citizen militia to protect the borders. But he watched these idealistic approaches fail over and over. He saw the Florentine priest Girolamo Savonarola try to lead through strict, uncompromising morality. Savonarola was quickly outmaneuvered, overthrown, and publicly hanged. Then Machiavelli looked at a warlord named Cesare Borgia. Borgia was the exact opposite of a moral leader. He lied to his allies, cultivated a terrifying reputation, and openly murdered the leading families of the lands he conquered. As a diplomat observing Borgia firsthand, Machiavelli collected some shocking empirical data. Borgia's deception and violence actually worked. His territories enjoyed order, stability, and unity that Florence could only dream of. The laboratory of Italian warfare proved a terrifying point. In the realm of geopolitics, playing strictly by the rules of traditional ethics guarantees that your people will be conquered and killed. The Florentine Republic eventually collapsed. Despite Machiavelli's citizen militias and diplomatic maneuvering, the wealthy Medici family seized control of the city in 1512. Stripped of his office, tortured, and permanently banished to the Tuscan countryside, Machiavelli was left with nothing but his books. He channeled his trauma into a cold, obsessive analysis of historical data. From this isolation, he developed a concept known as dual morality. The theory argues that the ethical rules governing a private individual are entirely separate from the rules governing a state. If an individual practices honesty, kindness, and generosity, they are a good person. If a ruler strictly practices those exact same virtues in a geopolitical arena filled with hostile empires, they guarantee the destruction of their state. To protect the populace from external threats, a leader must be willing to commit necessary evils. They must control the narrative, break promises, and use decisive violence to maintain a secure shield around their citizens. The data led Machiavelli to a harsh conclusion. A ruler does not have the luxury of a clean conscience. Their only true moral obligation is ensuring the survival of their people, regardless of the methods used. This brings us to the actual text of The Prince. On its face, it's a job application, a gift to the Medici rulers intended to prove that Machiavelli understood the political bloc. But because he couldn't stop power-hungry madmen from ruling, he chose to strip away their camouflage. By detailing exactly how tyrants lie and manipulate, he was stripping them of their mystery. He offered the intelligent reader a tool. He exposed the tricks rulers use to stay in power, effectively giving the public a playbook for identifying the game being played against them. Machiavelli treated the past like data in a lab. He wasn't interested in an abstract moral narrative. He was the first to analyze history as a series of specific, repeatable causes and effects. To be truly Machiavellian does not mean acting like a comic book villain or causing harm for the thrill of it. It means practicing a radical form of strategic realism. True power comes from the ability to view the world exactly as it is, rather than how you wish it to be, and having the adaptable ruthlessness required to survive it.